this magnificent old limb, or rather half an ancient oak to be honest, the other half is still standing and towering above me. This came down last year towards the end of the summer during that hot dry period of weather that we had. And what a summer it was too. One or two trees did the same here in Sherwood, and they tend to do that in dry weather or extremes of weather such as we had, and they'll often either just chuck a limb off or split in half. Such trees like the majestic ancient oaks of Sherwood Forest are actually very fragile. But when this limb and half a trunk came down, it provided the opportunity for a number of inverts to take refuge, even though it was more exposed. And under this piece of wood here, there's a surprising residence. I should perhaps curtsy because there's royalty under here. When I casually lifted up this bit of wood that I'm going to lift up in a minute, I was stunned to see who was residing underneath. It's not the kind of situation that I've found one of these in before. I have found them regularly under bark, but this one has created a super little cell for itself and blocked it off. Now, I was worried that it might not still be here and that all this would have been disturbed, because this branch, although it's fallen, is prime playground for children and for adults alike that want to climb up it. And I thought that the resident might not be at home, or at least might not be of this mortal coil. So we'll have a quick look and see how receptive she is to visitors. Just look at that. I bet you weren't expecting that. Now, I don't want to disturb her for too long. I don't want to expose her at the moment while she's like this and inactive. She's fine. But I will show you the cell that she's carved out and then promptly blocked herself in with. It quite surprised me. I've seen bumblebees do it under fallen logs and over winter, but not hornet. And this, of course, is Vespa crabro, the European hornet. What a stunner. Because she's inactive, grubby finger time. I'm now touching the rear of this so you can get an idea of how big she is. But what an absolutely stunning thing. These are fabulously coloured. I do love hornets, as you know, and I've done videos on hornets before as a sign of impending life and awakening. But isn't that quite something? Hornets in Sherwood Forest are reasonably common. The nests can be fairly easy to find just by watching the foraging workers going in one direction or another, and that way you can eventually track the nest down. It is found fairly widely over Nottinghamshire now and has increased since I found the first, or what was the most northerly UK record at the time, apparently, in the Nottingham Arboretum, and that was in the 1980s, and it's since become much commoner. Numbers vary from year to year, but I just love these. Just look at that. And of course, if I twist around, and we'll just put it like that, I'll show you the cell that she's made. And this is it. She's rounded out this cell. What she's done at the time, she's worked in under here, carved out this cell for herself, which is now also occupied by the woodlouse Aniscus ocellus. It'll be quite safe. And as she's rounded that out, made it all secure, she's blocked herself in, so she's protected from the elements. Although I dare say that if I'd have come here when we had those hard frosts a couple of weeks ago, she might well have been covered in ice. So there we are. You didn't expect that, did you? Neither did I when I first uncovered her a couple of months ago, and I'm delighted that she's still here and doing very well, and even more delighted that despite the mild temperatures, she's remained inactive. Sometimes they do become active quite quickly, and although they won't fly around, I just didn't want to disrupt this one. She's played a part terrifically well. So let's hope she survives the rest of the winter. It's starting to rain now, so we'll cover her back up the very spot. Make sure it's bedded down well. Reseal those edges. Put it back how I found it. And let's hope she remains undisturbed for the rest of her hibernation period. Hornets tend to come out and reappear, usually sort of late April, early May more often. Usually later than wasps. Of course, hornet is a wasp, of course, but big one.